All right, all right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another captivating episode of the Know Your Pharmacist Livestream. I'm Dr. Joaquin Acosta, your host tonight, and the proud CEO of Pharmtrue, where we're on a mission to empower wellness through community-driven healthcare. Let's connect and collaborate on a journey that promises not just to inform, but to transform. Tonight, we've got an excellent lineup that's both enlightening and engaging, guys, designed to make you think, feel, and most importantly, act for your betterment. First up, we're going to dive into the concerning rise of the COVID emergency room visits among adolescents as schools have gone back to resuming. It's a topic that's not just timely, but crucial for every family as we do start getting into the winter season. You know, winter is coming and COVID rates are going to continue to rise. Granted, our community is currently at low risk. There are about 10 million people that are living in the United States at communities with medium risk. So that risk is actually, going up week by week, and we're watching that happen right now. Obviously, we are in the hotter part of the year over here, but again, it's a thing. After that, we're going to be shifting gears to explore the fascinating world of Charco Neurotech's innovation. It's called Q1. It's a future where technology and healthcare unite to create some pretty cool solutions, and I will go ahead and go over that here just shortly in our Tech Talk segment. Our Enlightenment Hour segment, we're going to be offering a fresh perspective on the mindset portion of vaccine side effects. We're going to discuss how actually changing your mindset can actually improve your vaccine experience. Stanford got all into this, and it's another creative approach, right? That hopefully you guys loved, and it's backed by evidence and science. Cool. In our Herbal Wellness Corner, we're going to unlock the secrets of natural wellness with Pharmtrue's high demand one-to-one gummy, guys. For all you cannabis curious and cannabis confused, cannabis naive users, big popular product that we want to make sure gets a good statement so everybody has the to know on that. Anyways, after that, we're going to share our community spotlight about a sweet fundraiser, highlighting a delicious way to support Southern New Mexico diabetes outreach. That's the SNMDO with our locally loved and owned Calichis. Guys, finally, in our Men's Health Minute, we're going to talk about prediabetes and the actionable steps you can take today to address that, men. So sit back, relax, and let's make this the best live stream ever, guys. Thank you to our sponsors. Big thanks. Pharmtrue, High Horse, the Trichome Alliance, and Vado Speedway Park. Your support makes this all possible. So, guys, hope you're ready to ignite your curiosity and elevate your wellness and enrich your life. You are in the right place at the right time with the right guy. Let's get this thing started, guys. Cool. So, Pharmacist Frontline looking at COVID in the schools. Interesting. Las Cruces, New Mexico is not as affected. And you'll see some of you guys have little pockets of people that are getting COVID right now. But again, other side of the country, looking at new reports of COVID-19 and emergency room visits from adolescents have nearly doubled over the past week, according to CDC data. So again, this hadn't happened for an entire year. The forecast of the rates of the ER visits in adolescents are definitely the highest growing rate of ER visits among, age groups right now, even from youngest to oldest. So that increase is 1.33%, but it's alarming enough to look at because the increase is also slightly in conjunction with the return, or not even the return, let me say the arrival of the new COVID BA.2.86 variant, right? So the new COVID variant that's supposed to come out, that's going to be supposedly, right, furthering spread and theoretically more resistant to all the immunity built up from having COVID in the past, more resistant from vaccines, correct? So what is this going to perhaps mean? We don't exactly know, but currently, right, according to the CDC, and we'll show our county here, close to 10 million Americans are now in communities at medium COVID-19 levels. And again, Florida, you are one of our big perpetrators again, and you were before, so is what it is. Anyways, CDC says warrants considering returning Americans to masking and other precautions. Again, guys, that's up to the state of New Mexico. We don't even really know what that's going to mean for us, but just want to keep everybody informed about what the perhaps rise of this new BA.2.86 variant perhaps could mean for us. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that new variant as well. What is it? Correct. Nicknamed Parola. The BA.2.86 first identified July 24th of this year, so relatively new. The WHO had added the new variant to its list of currently circulating variants under monitoring, noting that the strain has a large number of mutations identified. So far, again, there haven't been a lot of cases. I think 2 cases in the United States reported so far. One, a person in Michigan, older adult with mild symptoms, hadn't been hospitalized. But what is it? The BA.2.86 subvariant of Omicron, correct? More mutations than the mutations of every variant before, according to Timothy Murphy, senior medical doctor, associate dean for the clinical and translational research at the University of Buffalo Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. Again, looking out at the CDC pointing out that this change, this new variant, the Pirola, right, the BA.286, is roughly the same magnitude as the initial strain change between the initial Delta strain of COVID-19 and Omicron. So that new jump where it required the new vaccine because Omicron started spiking everything up again is what they're suggesting. And again, it's because of what's called a spike protein mutation. And so what that means is the virus uses like a spike protein to bind the disease to cells. And with so many different mutations or variations in the spike protein, COVID starts spiking again. Easy to remember. Anyways, but again, what does that mean for now? That BA.286 strain and variant is going to be much more resistant to current vaccination status, to whether or not you've had COVID in the past. And cases are currently in weird pockets of the country starting to go up a little bit. Some parts of the country are going back up to medium risk. I'm going to show you guys here on the screen the CDC COVID data tracker. So looking right now, you got Arizona, Mojave County currently in a medium risk. Change in hospital admissions from prior week, it went up 43.8% in hospital admissions. So this isn't like to scare people, but just to see like, hey, this is going up. Out in Florida, there's changes as well. Nebraska, changes in hospital admissions from prior week, 200%. And again, new hospital admissions are 3. So, trend in hospitalizations are up 21.6% this week. Trend in deaths, 21.4%. Again, what that means for New Mexico is we're not quite there yet. Granted, we are in the hotter stages of the year. But what we can perhaps expect is that it's going to hit us. The New Mexico Department of Health only has up through last week in terms of the COVID data, but there was like 50 new cases, a week ago throughout the entire state. So again, it's just continually slow rising. New Mexico data is not currently as current. We are not currently in the alarm status of it all yet, but in the United States, according to the COVID data tracker, up 21.6%. Interesting to keep in mind. So again, wash your hands. Keep in mind if you're coughing, keep in mind people are coughing. And, be aware. There's pockets of people who are already getting this, and that's what we can do is promote the awareness of, hey, not only COVID, RSV, and flu are all coming back, but you don't want to get the trifecta, so you might as well vaccinate. Flu shot time is now. COVID vaccination time. Check with your your pharmacy or your doctor to see if you are up to date or not. Since all this has been coming out, it should be that everybody does need a new shot for pretty much the winter time. However, I don't want to say that as a blanket statement, and I don't want to get into the intricacies of it right now. But again, just make sure you're up to date, and it's worth asking because the trends continue to go up, and New Mexico will hit it in the back end. And once we hit it, we'll hit it faster. Adolescents are the ones that are showing higher visits. So anyways, guys, much appreciated. Hope everybody is having a great day. That segment is brought to you guys by Pharmtrue. Again, just giving you a little intro to Pharmtrue, our esteemed sponsor of that Pharmacist Frontline segment. Pharmtrue is more than just pharmacy. It's a beacon of innovation and quality, providing pharmacist-formulated cannabis products since 2019 with commitment to education and trusted, safe, well-designed solutions. Pharmtrue is empowering wellness through community-driven healthcare. Join them in their journey towards a healthier future, backed by science and nature. Visit Pharmtrue's website and be part of the revolutionary movement today. Excellent, guys. Talking next part, showing you guys tech talk, some new tech out there and cool. So made by Charco Neurotech, it's called the Q1. It's a device for Parkinson's. I'm going to show this up on the screen. Pretty cool. What is it? The Q1, a non-invasive wearable medical device for people with Parkinson's to improve movement and quality of life. So again, not fully out yet, but showing this thing, I think it's a pretty cool thing. I'm going to show you guys a little bit more. How does it work? The science behind it. So here we go. Jumping into a little video. The Q1 using a quiet electric motor to produce vibrotactile stimulation. The vibrations are produced in a specialized pattern developed through extensive research and testing alongside with people with Parkinson's. Through the pattern waves and shape frequency, the device delivers two scientifically validated principles in combination unique to this device focused on stimulating cueing. Again, let me show you how this works.
Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative condition. Loss of pigmented midbrain neurons in the substantia nigra pars compacta leads to many motor symptoms of Parkinson's, such as rigidity and bradykinesia. These symptoms have also been linked to an excessive amount of brain activity in the beta frequency band across the motor cortex and subthalamic nucleus. This beta activity normally decreases before and during voluntary movement and increases again when staying still. Research suggests that vibratory signals transmitted from the skin and muscle to the brain may be able to modulate cortical activity, reducing the amplitude of beta activity. This puts the body in a ready-to-move state and reduces stiffness and rigidity. Vibration was first suggested to improve Parkinson's symptoms back in the 19th century by the renowned neurologist Dr. Jean-Martin Charco, who noted that patients' symptoms were less severe after arriving by railroad or carriage. Over the years, we have refined our understanding of this finding. Recent studies have found that localized stimulation, placed on a peripheral part of the body, can be effective and more practical than full-body vibration. Through extensive testing, Charco Neurotech found that the sternum may be the optimal position for effectiveness and ease of use. Charco's Q1 is a non-invasive device which uses localized vibration, termed focused vibrotactile stimulation. Here we will describe the best current understanding of how the Q1 works. High-frequency vibration can be detected by mechanoreceptors such as muscle spindles in the tissue surrounding the sternum. They have been shown to send sensory neuronal signals through 1-alpha nerve fibers to the brain. These signals encode for physical touch and proprioceptive information, which are important for motor and balance control by the brain. The Q1 also uses a validated therapy for Parkinson's called cueing. Medical professionals commonly advise using cueing to help people with Parkinson's with their motor symptoms. Cueing can be delivered in many ways, such as rhythmic auditory cueing, which can be achieved using a metronome. Visual stimuli have also been explored in the experimental setting, and many professionals recommend cognitive cueing, such as counting in one's head to help with movement. The Q1 uses rhythmic pulses of vibration to provide cues, which are discreet and less distracting to people as they go about their day-to-day activities. Cues like this provide a stimulus that can help people with Parkinson's initiate and sustain regular cycles of bodily movements that are implicitly learned, like walking. In order for movements like walking to be initiated, inhibition of neuronal activity in the supplementary motor area of the brain is required. This is controlled by structures of the basal ganglia, each possessing an internal rhythm. In Parkinson's, as the neurons in the basal ganglia are damaged, the internal rhythmic activity is disrupted, and hence the control of movement deteriorates. This is a possible cause of other characteristic features of Parkinson's, like freezing of gait. Tactile cues delivered by the Q1 may help relieve symptoms by modulating the disrupted basal ganglia SMA circuit, potentially bypassing the circuit itself, allowing reinitiation of learned movements and avoidance of freezing. While both focus stimulation and cueing have been studied extensively in the literature, the Q1 is the first widely available device to combine and deliver them in a practical and patient-centered manner. With this combination, the Q1 may help to relieve the key movement symptoms experienced by people with Parkinson's. To learn more, please visit our website www.charconeurotech.com. This animation has been reviewed by Dr.
So again, pretty cool focus stimulation for Parkinson's. Kind of get the gist there between the cueing and the science between all of that. But, the medications for Parkinson's are trying to slow down those symptoms, working on the GABA receptors, so on and so forth. And, it's Parkinson's. We're trying to, again, slow down the progression of the symptoms. But what can perhaps this, do with medication on top of it all? So it's very cool to see, technology being targeted for specific disease states, Parkinson's being one of them. I thought this was some pretty cool technology to share. I saw a pretty cool video outside of this that was about that. I'm going to pull that up just one more time because it was there today and pretty cool. So again, showing you guys about this pretty sweet innovation, the Q1, and what that does. And so here goes. I can't find it in 2 seconds, and I'm just going to give up. I had it pulled up, but for whatever reason, I did take it down, which is true. Checking right now, guys. I swear it's right here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So here it is.
Device affects mobility in people with Parkinson's.
Look at this thing.
Named Q1, the device is often worn on the chest via an adhesive patch. At the push of a button, it emits specific vibration and pulse patterns to alleviate stiffness and improve motor skills in people with Parkinson's. Parkinson's causes a specific area of the brain, the basal ganglia, to deteriorate, which disrupts the patient's internal rhythmic activity and leads to symptoms like tremors, balance problems, and slow movements. Rhythmic pulses of vibration delivered by Q1 provide a stimulus by modulating the disrupted basal ganglia and behavioral control. This can help patients initiate gait, maintain regular movement cycles, and hopefully reduce the risk of falls. Q1 can be easily put on and taken off as needed. And it can be recharged with the included dock case. By connecting the device to the Q app via Bluetooth, patients can also change the character.
Cool. So I think you guys see the demos there. Very cool, promising. I put the link to the technology there in the chat. So guys, check that out. That was pretty cool for Tech Talk, showing out that Charco Neurotech Q1 technology. Looking to see Parkinson's, obviously, get improved more on than it already is. So it needs to continue to be boosted. It's cool to see how technology obviously is being used, guys. So awesome. I'm moving on to Enlightenment Hour, guys. Talked about mindset and vaccines and the perspective between it all. So showing some research from Harvard University wanted to show, and excuse me, that is Stanford, but what is a vaccine mindset and what does that even mean, right? So again, Stanford went into looking at videos or creating videos for different classes of patients and how they segregated them. We'll show you a little bit as to the mindset of what happens after you receive a vaccine. So you look at this and what they did, I'm going to show this right here. Little chart. So again, they were looking at individuals who received the symptoms as positive signals. The mindset intervention endorsed mindset symptoms as a positive signals to greater extent. And basically right here, you're going to see the worry about the side effects being a big barrier to the mindset there of actually getting a vaccine and how that was experienced. And really what it looked at, the entire thing is, again, investigating the effects of a brief video administered to encourage patients to have a more adaptive mindset towards side effects of COVID-19 vaccine and improve the treatment experience. They found that participants who were randomized to the mindset intervention were more likely to endorse the mindset that side effects could be positive signs that the vaccine was working than those in the control group. So the mindset group, in comparison to the control, reported fewer side effects in the waiting period following the vaccine and were less worried about their side effects at 3 days. Again, brief intervention video also had an impact on future vaccine intentions, with participants randomized to the mindset group reporting that they were more likely to get vaccinated against COVID vaccines in the future. So plenty of limitations, right? Where was the study done? New Zealand, this, that, and the other. And the thing here that's worth talking about, is my kind of golden nugget here for providers and for patients that, who do wonder about the side effects of vaccines and what they might feel like. People don't want to get sick from feeling a vaccine, quote unquote, correct? You don't want to get sick. You don't want to have symptoms. You don't want your vaccine to give you COVID, quote unquote, or what, other things that people might be concerned about, which may or may not be bogus and may or may not have been really just, out there. As healthcare providers, I think during the pandemic, healthcare providers got a little desensitized to, that. And so there was almost a stigma in terms of, hey, if you don't accept the vaccine, in hospitals, tell me how many people in hospitals were going to have less access to care if they didn't want to get the COVID vaccine, right? For some people, couldn't get into cancer programs if you didn't get the COVID vaccine, so on and so forth. And I totally understand, but that's still going to perhaps be a thing that exists. And so you look at the mindsets of vaccines and looking at the side effects of the vaccines or risk benefits and its providers, if you can look at the data already that, hey, well, patients basically being educated by a video 3 minutes after receiving a vaccine, a 3-minute education about side effects being a positive, association to getting the vaccine, saying, hey, it's working in your body, it's protecting you, versus nothing at all. Those patients were more likely to perceive less side effects in the first place from the vaccine, have more positive outcomes. So what can a provider do when it comes to, counseling on a vaccine there? With just that data alone, you could already say, hey, it might be very important to talk to your patients after they get about a vaccine, talk to them about the side effects about getting a vaccine, and use those side effects as a, hey, that means it's working, right? Let's really dig into the fact that, okay, let's not sit there and just talk about sore arm, let's not just talk about that. Let's say if you experience one of these side effects, elevated body temperatures, right, fatigue, it means that your body is building that antibody response to the, dead virus that was put into you, which is a good thing. And to take that extra time to really give patients that perspective actually goes numbers on the positive outcomes. So I know a lot of healthcare providers nowadays are not necessarily, prescribers are not necessarily doing the vaccines themselves. Pharmacists are not doing them as much anymore. It's technicians. And, we cannot give healthcare, pharmacy technicians cannot give healthcare advice. Pharmacists can, doctors can, nurse practitioners can, nurses can, but you cannot give healthcare advice if you are just, a technician or a nurse's aide or somebody like that might be given a vaccine. So there's just many different facets there. So worth thinking about that in your vaccine systems to help generally educate people that side effects can be a positive thing when it comes to the COVID vaccine, means it's working, and that trusted, strong recommendation about that and great counseling session. Stanford is endorsing that. Videos in terms of the whole entire intervention, right, guys? They've got, how to have patient-centered discussion about COVID vaccines on Stanford Medicine website. I'm going to share that with you guys in the chat. And I'm not going to go too far into this because, granted, this is more so for healthcare providers, right? So there is a vaccine hesitancy course and talking about how to get, the different kind of personality types when it comes to vaccines, influence to talk about it, and talking about that, vaccine mindset spectrum, a steadfast opponent, a healthy independent, a concerned skeptic, indifferent individual, cautious supporter, reluctant vaxxer, vaccine advocate. So where can you target them? How can you, help them? So this is a pretty cool resource. Shared it with you guys in the chat. And patients, if you guys want to take a look at that too, it's still a cool resource. Or not even patients, just regular, viewers of the show. So again, very cool. That's our Enlightenment Hour, guys. Moving on to the next segment, going to be highlighting Pharmtrue's one-to-one gummy, guys. So our Herbal Wellness Corner today brought to you guys by High Horse Cannabis Company. High Horse Cannabis Company, the trailblazers of the cannabis industry and proud sponsor of our Herbal Wellness Corner. Dispensaries in Chaparral, Valley Drive, North Main Street, and soon to be in Hobbs, New Mexico. High Horse is your go-to destination for quality cannabis products. Committed to professionalism, respect, and helping people, High Horse is changing lives for the better. Visit one of their locations and experience the High Horse difference. Check out their website and discover the future of cannabis today, guys. High Horse Cannabis, awesome. So Herbal Wellness Corner, talking to you guys about Pharmtrue's one-to-one gummy. It's our, highest selling gummy by far. It is the one that has people, coming back as well. And again, the people that buy Pharmtrue products are definitely the ones looking for that pharmacist formulated, pharmacist endorsed product, the more medical option, right? And when you're looking at that, we want to go into why exactly we formulated the one-to-one, gummy the way we did. Obviously, we have a tincture as well. The gummy is something I really want to talk about on today's show because the gummy is a great product for all the newbies when it comes to cannabis and or cannabis confused, cannabis curious, or cannabis naive people. But when in all those areas, right, a lot of people, when you really think about the people who've used cannabis, cannabis has been bred primarily now for high THC strains. So again, the people that already use cannabis, already wanting to use THC strains, are really looking at just THC more so primarily. And again, they're probably going to be more of the recreational users or, just a little bit of a different type of consumer. And for us, where we are, America's first dispensary ever within a pharmacy that we actually, have a patient population that really is, in that clientele of people who go to the pharmacy. And what does that mean? The people who are probably not going to go to, other places as far as getting recommendations unless it's a trusted source, right? Like iHorse Cannabis Company, a trusted source to get, products, cannabis products. Our Pharmtrue products are sold there. We align in all the best ways. So again, you just got to be going to the right places. Otherwise, you could be misinformed. You could be given misbranded or mislabeled products, this, that, and the other. And where we, I don't want to say it like this, but really, like, people come to cannabis, these people come out of the cannabis naive or the cannabis curious or the cannabis confused segments from the point of, pain is getting so bad that there's no other options. It's almost a point of no return that forces the cannabis question, correct? Whether it's, some sort of chronic illness or terminal illness, they really do start sparking that other alternative questions for alternative medicine. And in those moments, that's when we do want to be there and be available for our patients and our community with our pharmacist formulated products. And really, I look at that. I look at the one-to-one product and why it's so popular, because CBD and THC, work on both the CB1 and CB2 receptors respectively, guys. And what does that really, right? What does that mean? CB1 receptors, brain and spine, most abundant G protein coupled receptor in the brain, the CB1 receptor, the CB2 receptor, everywhere else, inflammation, inflammatory conditions, peripheral tissues, the gut, and it's also in the brain. But CB2 receptors, again, are more affected by CBD. And when we talk about receptors and we talk about, THC and CBD, it's lock and key mechanisms, right? So the lock and key for THC and CBD there, it's, well, THC fits onto the CB1 receptor with the right lock. CBD, fits onto the CB2 receptor with the right key. So where you get the lock and the key, you have to create that situation there. And, the best part is that CBD helps THC, right, be, attenuated. And where you say the word attenuated means to help diminish the effects of THC. So people that want to use cannabis products for the first time, really that don't want to get the euphoric high, that don't want to get high, but want to have, some help on the inflammatory conditions, that want to have those positive, therapeutic beneficial effects, the 1-to-1 CBD to THC ratio becomes such a powerful option there, because the CBD really does help take down those effects from the THC. So again, looking at the endocannabinoid system, the 6 major organ system, millions of receptors, CB1 and CB2 receptors, as we just kind of showed you guys there, how, CBD and THC are both, being used on those different receptors again, but working together by CBD attenuating THC psychoactive effects. Consumers can really expect a really good product for wellness and a really good, yes. And is this what you would recommend for chronic migraine over flower? I would, yes, because, flower, you do have to redose, every 1 to 2 hours. You peak in 10 minutes. And when you're looking at gummies, you're having a probably, 8 to 10 hour window. And that's where, I really do think it is a good situation to consider for a longer sustained dose, and then using correct, like a inhaled dosage form for breakthrough. But that's a great point there. Exactly. And the biohack here that I want to give everybody is 2.5 milligrams of THC is kind of the threshold number to cause a high or the euphoria. So 2.5 milligrams of THC, right, causes the high. Well, CBD in the 1-to-1 of 2.5 of THC, you get 2.5 of CBD. You quarter up one of our 10 milligram gummies and you can get one of that actual doses right there. You're right on the borderline of where science says that you could actually expect some euphoric effects. But then you can also, say that CBD is going to be there helping to diminish those, psychoactive effects of THC. Granted, CBD is considered psychoactive as well, but the euphoric effect where people don't want to get, loopy or high or floaty or whatever the feeling may be for whatever perceived person. So again, highlighting that one-to-one gummy that we make, is a perfect product to start with because you can quarter it up. Again, you can do tinctures as well, but again, tinctures will have a little bit of a faster, absorption period. It's going to have a little bit of a shorter, period of action, more in the 6-hour range. So we like those two. And the other thing, again, taking these, with food, 2.8 times better absorption when you take cannabis edibles with food. So it's like food needs to have fat in it. It's because cannabis is a lipophilic substance. Cannabis likes fat. So when there's fat to be bound to in digestion, you get way better absorption, 2.8 times percent better. So again, taking these gummies, quartering them up, taking them with food, for those people who are cannabis confused, cannabis curious, cannabis naive, these are great options, especially to avoid some of that extra psychoactive effect that, a lot of people do want to avoid, and you can still try to actually get some of that health, benefit without having to exactly do that. And again, there you go. Glad you learned that there, sir. Definitely want to, it's like get your money's worth too, right? Like at the same time. So exactly. So that, pretty much is what we are getting into there about that product, the dynamic duo between CBD and THC. Real world experience means better experience, fewer side effects. Biohack there, quarter up those products for all you new users. Share that with a friend or a family member. It's a great idea because, sorry about that. It's right, because that's what we're talking about there. So again, I think, we're going to be pushing these out as far as, more deals and discounts on this here in the future. Just want to keep everybody informed. Pharmtrue's one-to-one gummy, it's our most popular bestseller, and we love it because it's consistent, and it's really nice to have CBD helping the THC, especially for, those of you who just want that extra sleep or just want, that extra, right, healing and wellness. So very cool. Jumping on, guys, community spotlight, talking about an ice cream gift card giveaway, sponsoring a fundraiser for Southern New Mexico Diabetes Outreach Team. And this is through Calichi's Custard, guys. So if you purchase a $20 gift certificate to Calichi's, 50% of the cards sold will benefit the type 1 diabetes group. So it's going to be really cool. Again, if you guys aren't buying and selling gift cards to Calichi's, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know why you're not doing it, but either way, definitely want to promote that and make sure that everybody, has ways to continue to help out the community with the money that they spend. Perhaps somebody has a birthday gift or whatever it is, $20 gift card to Calichi's, half of that money goes to supporting the Southern Mexico Diabetes Outreach Association. So very cool. We are going to be talking about in our Men's Health Minute after this, a little bit about prediabetes as well and how it affects our men in our community. So definitely something to go over, guys. But I think that pretty much hits most of our community spotlight there. So again, for all of you Las Cruces peeps, that's what I'm talking about for our community spotlight. Brought to you guys by the Trichome Alliance. Trichome Alliance, guys, special shout out to them, our harmonious sponsor for the community spotlight. Join them at the Butt Cancer Gala on 9/21/23 at Amador Live in Las Cruces for an unforgettable Italian-style dinner and dinner play. Early bird tickets are $65 before August 31st, and then $75 after. Early bird is coming up quick. So, anyways, password will be given to enter the gala and support the mission of advocacy, education, and community connection. Get your tickets at the Trichome Alliance website. Be part of the event. We will make sure that we put up the QR code to get into the gala as well. Sorry about that. I didn't have it up earlier, but it's up on the screen now. QR code to the gala. Very cool. All right, talking about the last part of the show, Men's Health Minute, guys. So again, pre-diabetes, what's the plan? What is pre-diabetes? Prediabetes. Again, it's a condition. Blood sugar gets higher than normal, but you don't meet the criteria for diabetes yet. A1C starts, leaking a little above where it needs to be, but it's not exactly getting there yet. But 34% of the population in America has prediabetes. That's 84.1 million Americans. 90% of people with prediabetes do not know that they have it. So again, that's men and women. But again, what are the risk factors for diabetes? Pre-diabetes, guys, which is the precursor to type 2, which type 2 is like 90% of all diabetes, which Doñana County, we are, our rates of type 2 diabetes are insane. So how do we stop us from getting to that point? Well, we got to really put a halt on the pre-diabetes. Again, so obesity and diabetes hand in hand. Obesity goes up, diabetes goes up. 18.5% of our youth from ages 2 to 19 are obese, according to the CDC. So risk factors including diet and physical inactivity, family history, age. Insulin resistance plays into it after the fact. So prediabetes starts incurring the insulin resistance from, the buildup of the blood sugar in the body. So the blood sugar average, being the A1C, is elevated over a long period of time. That starts to create insulin resistance because your body can't produce enough insulin to keep up. So that's where that becomes eventually type 2 diabetes. So basically that's what we're getting at. How do you prevent prediabetes from becoming diabetes? Well, the best thing, again, lifestyle changes, knowing it exists. If you've had your A1C checked, which is just part of your usual complete blood panel, blood tests and things like that, if you are at risk for prediabetes, you may be on metformin or not. Some people really don't like metformin, but again, metformin has anti-aging benefits as well. So, there's nothing bad about metformin. No shame in taking metformin. But again, increasing, exercise to moderate intensity, at least 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, trying to focus on non-starchy vegetables such as carrots, lettuce, onions, peppers, eating quality lean protein, cutting back on carbs and processed foods. Of course, we kind of understand those things already, the easy things that we preach all the time, but, pre-diabetes and diabetes can be absolutely reversible. And we will, only continue to push that and promote that, and talk to your doctor about where you stand if you don't know, or somebody else in your life, and what pre-diabetes might be. But again, we're Doñana County's hitting like 14% plus diabetes rates, and we're already embarrassingly enough in New Mexico some of the worst. Where can we get better? Let's stop getting diabetic let's stop getting diabetic by having pre-diabetes attacked. And that's what we can do. So super cool. Men's Health Minute. Thank you, guys. Brought to you by Vado Speedway Park. Come check us for our 2-day show this weekend. Grab your tickets online ahead of time at vadospeedwaypark.com. It's going to be some great racing. Very, very exciting. So again, guys, see you guys tomorrow.